This is going to be a really fun video. Hello everyone, welcome to Minimal Mindful Mama. I'm Katie Mixon and we're going to do things a little bit differently today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my best mom tips for the holiday season. They are all totally different and super helpful things that I've learned over the course of the last 8 or 9 years of being a mom and being a preschool teacher. I have lots of awesome tips for you guys as far as helping the holidays to go smoothly with your kids. And we're also going to be playing a fun scavenger hunt. So be sure to watch through the video and make sure that you follow all the instructions for the scavenger hunt. If this video hits 2,000 views, I'm going to select a winner from the comments to receive a free copy of my ebook, The Minimal Mindful Mama, which is just a super helpful resource if you are decluttering your house or simplifying. It just walks you through room by room, step by step. All of my best tips are in there. There's also helpful checklists in the back, so that is a super awesome resource. So again, if you participate in that scavenger hunt, you can get selected to be the winner of that ebook, which would be such an amazing gift to yourself this holiday season. So be sure you're paying attention, like and subscribe down below. Let's go ahead and get started. My first tip is for if you enjoy baking Christmas cookies for the holiday season. So I have 2 ideas for you, and the first is to not overwhelm yourself trying to make all of the different kinds of Christmas cookies. Something I did last year that I found really helpful is I made a menu of Christmas cookie options, and then I let my husband and my kids each pick out their favorite kind. I also picked out my favorite, of course, but this really helped to cut down on the kinds of cookies that I had to make, especially since I'm pretty sure a few of my kids picked the same ones. That way I didn't have to make a bunch of cookies that nobody really likes that much anyway. And I think I'll do the same thing again this year. The cookies might be different that everyone chooses, but that helps keep it fun and fresh each year. And if baking Christmas cookies is something that you want to do with your children, I have a few tips for that as well. My first tip is to not try to make all the cookies with them. For instance, my kids really like to decorate the sugar cookies and the gingerbread men. So I'll go ahead and make any of the other kinds of cookies in advance. A lot of times I'll do this after they're in bed, and then I'll pre-make the dough. This way they get to help with the fun part of rolling it out and doing the cookie cutters and decorating the cookies. But it's a little bit less lengthy of a process since we're not waiting for the dough. If your kids love to help you mix, sometimes I'll have them help me mix a different kind of cookie that the dough doesn't matter as much. Like if I'm doing a oatmeal cookie for Christmas or peanut butter cookies, they can help me mix that part and then make those cookies. And then when we do the sugar cookies, I just make an afternoon of it. We make a giant mess in the kitchen and are all over the table, and then we just clean up the entire thing afterwards. But having your dough all pre-made and not trying to do all of the different kinds of cookies all at once really helps to streamline the process. For our scavenger hunt, you can go ahead and in the comment section down below, drop this emoji and be sure to keep watching for more of the scavenger hunt. If you're like me and you love to do a Christmas card each year with a picture of your kids, I've discovered something that can make this a lot easier. So I have 4 kids, ages 8 and under, and I discovered very quickly when I had my second kid that one kid you can get to look cute for a picture, but add that second one in and it's really hard to get them both cute and smiling in a picture. Add a third kid in and it becomes nearly impossible. I don't even know what the odds are when you have that 4th kid, but here's my mom hack for this. Rather than trying to get all of your children to be sitting perfectly smiling all at the same time for a picture, unless you have amazing angel children, that usually just ends up in me being frustrated and upset and everyone crying. So something that I'm going to be doing this year is doing individual shots instead. The kids will all have their matching outfits just like normal, but instead of trying to pose all 4 of them and get them all to smile simultaneously, I'm going to just do one at a time and then put the 4 pictures together on a Christmas card, and it will look just as cute, if not cuter, because no one will be in tears. You also could combine some of your kids. If some of your kids are older and will cooperate better, you could have one of them together and then just do the babies or toddlers separately. But I found that this is a really helpful way to get rid of a lot of the stress around taking those family pictures for Christmas cards. Make sure and comment this emoji down below for the scavenger hunt, and let's go ahead with our next tip. A lot of times I'll have my kids make a little craft kind of ornament that they can then gift to friends and family. But if it's something that involves paint, and you've painted with small children before, you probably know that a lot of times it just ends up brown. So I have a really cool tip for you that helps those to turn out beautifully, and it involves the color wheel. So I'm gonna pop a color wheel here, and you'll be able to see that if you give your kids primary colors, which would be the red, yellow, and blue, if you mix red and blue together, you get purple. If you mix red and yellow, you'll get orange, etc. But if you mix red, blue, and yellow all together, you get brown, or some variation thereof that isn't cute and Christmassy. So many times I think when people are giving their kids Christmas ornaments to decorate, they might give them colors like red and green, but you can see that those are kind of opposite from each other on the color wheel. What you want to do to keep those colors looking beautiful is to, instead of giving them colors that are opposite on the color wheel, you want the colors to be side by side on the color wheel. So this could look like giving them colors such as green, blue, purple, or blue, purple, red, or red, orange, yellow, or yellow, green, blue, etc. If you are doing an ornament that's like a Christmas tree or something that you're painting, then I recommend only giving them the green to start, having them paint the entire thing green, and then after the paint is dry, you can give them those other colors that are opposite on the color wheel to really pop against the green. But again, only give them those colors that are next to each other, such as the red, orange, yellow, and that way it'll look beautiful on the dried green paint, but you won't end up with any brown. Also, if your kids love painting and you know they're gonna want to keep going and going, make sure that you either have enough ornaments so that they don't just keep painting over their beautiful creation until it turns brown, or have some paper on hand so that when you feel the ornaments are complete, they can keep painting to their heart's content on paper while your ornaments that you're hoping to gift can dry. My next tip is if you're doing watercolors with your children, but before we talk about that, go ahead and comment the snowflake emoji in the comment down below for our scavenger hunt. If you are doing watercolors with younger children, like 2s or 3s, even 4s sometimes, but as children get older, they seem to be able to understand the concept of watercoloring better. I have a lot of experience with watercoloring with 2 and 3-year-olds, so here are my tips for helping that to turn out beautifully. Firstly, don't give them an entire cup of water and expect them to dip their paintbrush between colors. That cup of water is likely going to spill all over the place and make a big mess. So what I like to do is to use a dripper or one of those little medicine squirt things to add water to the watercolor tray so that it kind of soaks in and they don't have to worry about that dipping in the water cup or anything. Also, don't put water into the black and brown colors. Only add it to your bright colors. They're still gonna end up with some brown anyway because that's how colors mix together, but you'll get much better results if you don't add water to the black and the brown. I think toddlers sometimes are just really drawn to the black because it shows up so boldly. So if you're hoping to get something really colorful and beautiful, just stick to the bright colors. They might still get water in that black and brown and use it anyway, but you'll get better results if you only put water in those bright colors. Go ahead and comment this emoji down below for our scavenger hunt, and let's talk about our next tip. If you're like me and you have a baby or a toddler this Christmas, and you know that they're going to pull down all of the ornaments off of your tree, there are some really cute ideas that you can do instead of using your sentimental ornaments that are much more baby and toddler proof. So one thing I like to do is to use baby's breath on my tree. You just buy a few bunches and then you can tuck it in between the branches. I did this last year and it creates this beautiful snowy effect on your tree. And this even by itself looks gorgeous. Don't do this if you have pets though, because I've heard that it can be toxic to animals. But you could use faux flowers or stems to fill in your tree and create a similar floral look. My plan for this year is to forgo the ornaments and to instead tie ribbon bows all over the tree. You can use whatever kind of ribbon you like. I got some really pretty velvet ribbon, and I'm just gonna put velvet bows all over the Christmas tree. This way, if my baby does go over to it and tries to pull it off, it'll just untie the bow rather than breaking something that's special and sentimental. Another option would be to use pine cones, or maybe even those seed pods from magnolia trees. If you've seen those, you can spray paint them all silver or gold, or use them as their natural color. And you can hang those with ribbons or hooks, or you can just tuck them into the branches. And that would be a really beautiful and not as breakable option for decorating your tree. At this point in the video, you can go ahead and drop this emoji in the comment section. Let's move on to our next tip. Okay, so in our house, since my kids were little, we've had a rule that on Christmas morning, when they wake up first thing in the morning and they see all the presents under the Christmas tree, they are not allowed to open those presents until mommy and daddy get their coffee. However, it can be really tempting for them, especially depending on the ages of your kids. And so last year we tried something new that worked really well. So rather than Santa delivering the presents to under the tree, he delivered the presents to a hiding spot in our home. When the kids woke up on Christmas morning, they saw that the stockings were full, but the gifts were not yet under the tree. Mommy and Daddy had a quick minute to grab some coffee, and then we brought out the presents from where Santa had so thoughtfully delivered them and placed them under the tree. We might even have had the kids go in their room while we do this. I can't exactly remember everything that happened last year. That kind of happens when you have a newborn. But I do remember that that worked really well to have Santa deliver the presents to an undisclosed location. The kids knew in advance that we were going to have Santa do this, and so it wasn't upsetting for them when they woke up and there weren't gifts under the tree. If your kids write letters to Santa, this can be a great time to naturally incorporate that request. At the end of your kids' Santa letters, you can just put a PS, please deliver them to a hiding spot. Or you can write your own letter to Santa and ask him to leave them on the front step or in the garage or in the attic or wherever it may be. And that way the kids know that they're there and they will be brought out after all the grown-ups' basic needs have been taken care of. At this point, go ahead and comment this emoji down below so that you can be entered to win our scavenger hunt. If you've made it this far in the video, be sure and comment this emoji down below for the scavenger hunt. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe. If you ring that little bell button, you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck and happy holidays, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.